What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid, give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what's been coming out from the company itself, and what shorts are planning and preparing for. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 3.48% to 233 the low, 244 the high. So it is very close to that all-time low of $2.29. So not necessarily the best. Broader market, somewhat mixed. Of course, GDP did come out earlier today. Not the best. So forecast was 3.3, came in at 2.8. So that's also piggybacking off of the JOLTS numbers yesterday, which wasn't all that great. So the market's kind of torn, right? So you have a lot of big names unveiling their earnings, doing fairly good, but the underlying data is somewhat negative. So once again, you're kind of having this give and take with the broader market. But in Lucid's case, I think it's just the latest news that they did put out wasn't the best. So I'm going to go over that in a second. But 25.4 million for volume, 40.2 is the average. These are some of the transactions so far occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So you see a string of selling first thing. 1.45 million, so a big one, and that's kind of piggybacking as well from yesterday's sell-off after hours. So a lot of entities are selling Lucid. I think just the latest news that did come out associated to the Gravity wasn't to expectations, but what do I know, right? I could be wrong about that. You have some buying right here that's adding, or did add some stabilization right here, but still big money is just selling out. And the news that did come out yesterday, in case you don't know, is the Gravity. So the highly anticipated Gravity is clearly close to coming. Just, I think a lot of people are confused on why Lucid isn't mooning because of this, and it is simply because of the price point. So 94.9 for the Grand Touring wasn't what was kind of not advertised, but wasn't what people were expecting. Peter did a lot of fireside chats, a lot of interviews, and one thing that was commonly brought up was 80,000, around the $80,000 price range. Spoiler alert, 94.9 isn't close to that. And you have a lot of people out there saying, hey, look at all these like $90,000 SUVs that are doing phenomenal. Yes, completely on point. I do agree with you for that, but it's different scenario. We don't even know if Lucid can ramp up on the Gravity. It kind of does bring up right here that production is going to be starting late 2024. So most likely deliveries in early 2025. But I think just based on what Peter was talking about, people had it kind of set for it to be 79.9. And as of right now, that 94.9 doesn't qualify for that tax rebate or the credits. So I think it's just not the best. And even comparing to other Lucids, so the Airs, when the Grand Touring did come out, it was a flop based on the price point. That was Lucid's biggest fail, is that AGT. And at least one thing that they're doing it different this time around, they're not doing reservations, they're just doing orders, because I think they just did so many reservations, tried to accommodate for that, and then people just kind of took a step back. That's how Lucid had so much inventory. But I think the market just isn't really buying this news. The only thing that also did come out was posted by Lucid Oasis, shows this agency, so ADACSE, is offering, I guess, looks like leasing options for Germany and Europe. But based on just the conversions, I don't think it's going to be that big of a success. And I brought this up in comparison to Canada. So for instance, in Canada, Lucid, I don't know if it's Lucid or these agencies, but there is another roughly 15% markup. So I don't know if they're just taking some Lucids doing that, or it's these agencies or companies. But the conversions is really de-incentivizing any Canadian or potentially German or European individual to go through with these leases. I think the only leasing options that is good is for the States. And so I think Lucid does need to really work on that, and hopefully that's something that gets drawn, or more attention drawn to it, because I think right now that's a very big flop. But like I mentioned at the very beginning, I think shorts are planning something, and it's not the good thing, of course. But right now, at the time of doing this video, shorts are returning 3.97 million shares. So in case you don't know, by shorts returning, that does actually add buying pressure. So with all that buying happening behind the scenes, it's not really doing anything to the stock price. So it's just shows that there is a hell of a lot of selling going on in the broader market. But by them doing that, and plus you see cost to borrow minimum negative, so it is negative 0.01%. So that does mean there is a broker out there physically paying people to short Lucid. I think that broker in combination with the shorts are planning something big to really hammer Lucid hard. And what I mean by that is create a new all-time low for Lucid. So it's a very, very bad scenario. In reality, utilization is 82.91. Short score is 82.37%. So that's obviously the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. So I think this isn't the best in reality. But quickly going over to the options, 566,000 in calls, 252,000 in puts. 50% of all the options being done so far today are optimistic and bullish. And of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 250 range, some $3 pockets, but not much optimism, and that's all the way up until like June 2025. Looking at puts, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around sub 250 / sub $2. So still, I think just the dollar value for options is relatively low for Lucid right now, but no matter what though, options is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. As far as right now with it at $2.37, it is trading between this S3 and this S2. So essentially the market is categorizing Lucid as just very, very damaged. Any stock right now trading within this S3 to this S2 range has some problems associated to it. So $2.35 is going to be a strong support that you'll want to watch for, and then 243 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. And as of right now, quickly popping over here, so to the actual chart, it is below the ALMA, so below all the key pivotal moving averages, so 50, 100, 200 day, stochastic as well. MACD very bearish. The only thing positive, as I've kind of shared with you in the past, is the fact that it is very oversold. So if Lucid does put out a good piece of news, then yes, it could move higher, draw some value investors. But until that comes out, I think it's just a lot more risk than what a lot of people are willing to take on. And as well, as I've brought up in the past, the Elliott wave technicals are pointing for it to kind of hit the high ones coming next. So it does have a pivot point of $2.76 for as long as it is below that, which right now it is anticipated to hit that $1.80 to $1.97. So I think just Lucid right now, it does have a very good product. It just, the marketing, as what Peter said in the last podcast, it needs improvement. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And my apologies, I guess, on the overall just bearishness of my video today and even yesterday. Just, I like to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm not here to hype you up. I'm not here to bring you down. I'm just interpreting the data, and obviously the data is very, very negative, and that's why it's kind of pulling back. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Even though Lucid is going down, take advantage of this promo because it gives you 8 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So that is a kick-ass deal. Aside from that, though, I also did launch memberships. So if you like my Lucid content, want to support the growth, you can definitely join as a member. And then I also have a private Discord where I put out buy signals on stocks and options. So really a good thing to kind of take a look at. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.